Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Just by total coincidence, not realizing this meeting was taking place, I had written an op-ed piece for the Providence Journal that was in, I think, Monday's newspaper, talking about a vision of what should happen on Allen's Avenue. I scratched my head many times wondering, why do we have to have strip clubs and scrap metal yards as the gateway of welcoming people into Providence? And Allen's Avenue, you know, is one of the few streets that go all the way from Cranston, really from Warwick, all the way through Cranston, through Providence, up Wickenden Street, all the way to the end of the Eastside. It's the only street that does that in this city, and I think it's very important that we maintain it as something special. And if we go to other cities throughout the country, if you go to Baltimore, you go to Boston, you go to New York, they're developing their waterfront as neighborhoods. And we should be doing the same thing here. Now, some years back, the city council and the mayor, and quite frankly, I don't even know which mayor and which city council back then, but years ago they rezoned the Allen's Avenue to allow what we have today.
Could you say it again,
and it's wrong.
please?
And when we see what they've recently done in Pawtucket, where they went to the legislature, they were able to get a special taxing district for tax incremental financing to be able to buy a lot of their property around there so they can get it developed. I think that's something that should happen here. Now, we see so much in Providence and in the state that 195 is supposed to be the golden land, you know, the only land in America that's gold, right, is 195. But this butts up to it, is Allen's Avenue. So how can you get top companies to go onto 195 land and you have the rest looking terrible? Now, one of the developers of our city, Jim Winokur, who's a very nice man, has invested a lot between Eddy Street and Allen's Avenue. A lot of those old factory buildings, he redid those, and he did a beautiful job. But he tells me, he said, Joe, it's challenging, because when I'm trying to show property, I have to go through all the scrap metal, I have to go through all of the strip clubs, and it's not a very appealing way to show property. You know, there's a man by the name of Pat Conley, who was really a visionary before we even had a vision. And he wanted to make Allen's Avenue and the waterfront something special. And then they put the scrap metal yard right next to him. Quite frankly, I think they bankrupted the guy. They devalued his property tremendously. You can't rent it. Nobody can do anything there. But right now, you have the voice, and you have the means, and you have the wherewithal. You have the right elected officials that can help put together a plan. And my suggestion would be, get some of the people, the planners that worked in Pawtucket. I mean, look at East Providence. They're doing their waterfront. We can't do that in Providence. We're the capital city of this state. There's nothing we cannot do if we want to all work together on it. Now, I'm going to pass something out. You can keep it. But I'm going to pass something out. You can just look at it. A few years ago, myself and a few other people on our own put together a vision. This right here is what Allen's Avenue is now, and look at the other pages after it of what it could be. And then just pass it back, because I don't have enough to go around to everything. You just pass this out. You could have soccer fields, baseball fields, ice skating rinks. You could make those oil tanks and paint them like they do in Boston on the way to the airport and make it look very special. You could we're an art city. Let's enjoy the art. Let's take a lemon and make it into lemonade and make it into something special. So this vision, and I'm glad some of the Mets is here. How are you, Sima? Great to see you. What you could probably do is make this into a tax incremental district, probably going from Thurbers Avenue all the way towards downtown. You can even make it more than that, but I think that's a starting point, Thurbers Avenue going towards downtown. And then you get some good lawyers who know how to fight polluters and go after them environmentally, because they have polluted the land, they polluted the waters, and go after them. You can also brownfield that property, and if you get new development there, the added taxes that the city will get can literally pay off bonding to do all of the clearing of that property and get rid of some of those businesses that have not been a positive influence in the neighborhood. So it's just an idea. I wrote an op-ed piece these days. I'm an old retired guy, so I like to write articles once in a while in the paper. But I love the city. I work here. I live here. You were nice enough years ago to elect me to be a councilman and to be a mayor, and that means a lot to me. So somebody says to me, I say, I want to be the best former mayor the city ever had. That's what I want to be.
You are.
And I want to be the best citizen the city's ever had. And that's why I stay involved, and I want to continue to stay involved. But look at these plans, you can keep them. If there's any way I can help you, call me.
Thank you.
I think you have an opportunity in front of you right now. Don't lose it. You've got momentum on your side. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Joe for mayor.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. Thank you. Yes.
What about slightly south of Thurber's Avenue? Are we in danger of just pushing everything into that narrow space then between Thurber's and the Cranston line?
That's always a possibility. So you have to look at the entire Allen's Avenue, and you have to work with your neighbors in Cranston to make sure it's beautiful. You know, years ago when I was much younger, I remember they had the Hilton Hotel was on Narragansett Boulevard.
It's Johnson Wales now.
And now it's Johnson Wales, and now I understand they're looking to maybe sell it.
Oh, didn't know that.
So what's going to happen there? So what happens
Doors.
in Cranston is going to affect us in Providence.
Yeah.
What we do in Providence is going to affect them.
But there's a lot of territory between the
There's a great
Cranston
deal of
line and
territory.
Thurber's.
That's right.
And everybody keeps talking about, you know, doing something for the area from Thurber's up to the east side. But Allen's Avenue is bigger than that.
It
and
is.
the problem is bigger than just consolidating it in Thurber's.
well, I'm talking
A lot
about
of the mess is below Thurber's.
There's also
Yeah,
that
I think you're
area
right.
between
But I'm talking about-
and the bay, which is the industrial area.
But I'm talking about a tax incremental financing district, and I'm just theoretically just talking that a good boundary could be Thurber's Avenue. You've got to make it larger, you make it larger. That's what the city council does, your planning commission and your zoning people. But one of the things, I think you got to change your zoning. You got to change the zoning so you don't bring in any more, then figure out how we can replace some of what you have there now. Yes?
Yeah, I'm concerned, nowadays, I never used to smell it like that, but right near Rhode Island Hospital, it really smells
Yeah.
there. You know, and I worked in Johnston before, it smells like it does in Johnston, right off 295. That's
I
how
can
it
speak
smells.
to that.
That's interesting.
Rhode Island Hospital's right across the freeway from there. Now, there's people there
Yeah.
that need oxygen. You know,
Yeah.
we better make that hospital hermetically sealed. What can we do to curb the pollution there now?
That's, my friend called DEM to find out that exact answer, and their response was, we just need more phone calls.
I know exactly what it is.
What
Which
is
is
it?
sort of unacceptable.
Sprague Industries. Sprague Industries was cited by the AG and fined because they changed the content of their tanks from one material to liquid asphalt and never changed their air scrubbing equipment. Pretended they didn't know any better. The AG got on them. They said they would fix it. They did not fix it. The AG said cease and desist. You're getting a big fine. So that is a lot better than it used to be, but it still is bad. And it's Sprague. And so all the road work that's going on in the region is coming from their liquid asphalt tanks.
Interesting.
So we have a curb on it. They have fined them, and the AG's on it. The AG, God bless him, his new group is doing a lot for the street and
He's
for the
great.
community. Yeah, Nerona, very good.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Yeah, I have a slightly different perspective on what might be useful down there. I don't really think that using it for real estate speculation and gentrification is actually going to be that useful to the community. You know, we're seeing a lot of high-end investment, and it just makes it harder for everybody else. You know, rents go up faster than wages. So when we start thinking about those kinds of things, it's not a very smart idea. The second part, let me finish.
Sure, go ahead.
The second part of this is that we have an industrial area, and industrial areas are rare in Rhode Island. Now, the kind of industry that we're attracting is not particularly the kind we want. But the fact is that we still, you know, instead of attracting things that actually are taking things and just making them trash, you know, and we aren't making anything. So we need to find something that we could make there, because if the only thing that you can put there profitably, and that seems to be what's happening, is that people thought they would make money there, they, you know, other than, you know, high-end housing, which is, you know, ridiculous. We would be building things there rather than dismantling Rhode Island for shipping overseas. So it's really a failure of our industrial policy that gives us a waterfront that could be a great asset as an industrial waterfront and gives us trash. So, you know, we tend to then rely on this real estate speculation and gain to, you know, upscale us more and upscale us more, and that actually hurts us. You know, the growing inequality in real estate is actually one of the biggest problems that we face, and what we should be thinking about is much higher taxes on carbon and much higher taxes on wealth, because that inequality that is the kind of result of a project that you're suggesting doesn't actually develop our community, it just makes it
So
poor.
if you don't think that if you build an aquarium there, that's
I
gonna
would
be
like to
helpful?
see it
And
as
put some soccer fields and some
rather
ball
than
fields there? And get some cruise
tourist-oriented.
ships to come in, some tourism?
No, we want something you actually make.
We have a legitimate difference of opinion, which is fine.
Right.
Well, as long as it's it's healthier than it is now, because it really has a negative health effect, visually, economically, you know, in all ways. It's pollution, and it's got to be cleaned up. So we appreciate your vision. I agree with you in a lot of respects, but
Like
the
I
health
say,
aspect.
we have some program, if you see it, hello everybody. Before Cianci, Mayor Cianci, they have a big program for that street, Allen Avenue. Why they not looking for that program?
I just
And
pass
make-
it out to everybody.
That was it, yeah,
All right,
yeah.
I just pass it out because I put it together for them.
that's good.
God bless, buddy.
I would like to say that I think that this conversation is the beginning, hopefully, of many, that many people, stakeholders can join into and bring their voices forward. So a strategic plan and the kinds of policies that need to be brought in place to achieve that plan can happen within a certain timeline, so that there's a goal there to address the inequities that are happening at the port, and to address them in a way that has zero negative impacts on the environment or the health of the citizens, the water, the land, or the air. I think we could be poised in Providence and in Rhode Island to be a model for how this can be done. And I think our state kind of deserves to be a model for others to look toward. I understand through some studies that have been done with the ports on the east coast of the country that the Port of Providence is the best situated because it's protected at the head of Narragansett Bay. Charleston is open to the ocean. Boston has a big Boston Bay. And so with sea level rise and rogue storms that are predicted to come in, that the Port of Providence is actually positioned, if it's developed in the correct way, to continue to be a deep sea port. And it actually, if the sea level does rise, it could be the only one on the eastern seaboard. So there's a lot for us to consider in all of this. And I would say that we need to think about Wow, what was that? My time is done.
Your time is up. And we just ended with some of the shot.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Good luck.